Wildlife watching has become quite an American pastime. A recent survey showed that over 76 million of us spent time last year photographing and observing wildlife. It seems the easiest time for us to see wildlife in Idaho is in the winter, when the animals are down from the high country. But bear in mind, it can also be the toughest time for wildlife.
I think the wildlife viewing opportunities in Idaho are limitless, and the fact that no day is the same. Whenever you go out, you might always see something different.
Fish and game biologist Bruce Hawk is rarely seen without a pair of binoculars close by. Field glasses are an important tool for the ethical wildlife watcher.
They're far enough away from the road that they're really not being bothered by the traffic or the people or the dogs that are barking over here. And if they were all really concerned with us, their heads would be up, they'd all be looking at us, their ears would be forward, and these are very casual. They're still out here browsing on the grasses and shrubs.
The responsible wildlife viewer is careful not to disturb the wildlife. If we get too close, the animals are forced to move. An effort like this burns energy, a critical factor when an animal is trying to survive a cold and snowy winter.
They're trying not to move because they don't want to use energy. They want to conserve every ounce of energy they can.
Being a good neighbor to wildlife also means driving slowly through the areas where animals congregate, especially in the shoulder hours of dawn and dusk. Careless drivers endanger both themselves and our wildlife, and the results can be tragic.
What we're looking at is an animal that got mangled by a car or truck, and one of the things that happens, of course, is it looks terrible to passing motorists, and it's kind of a grim reminder that we need to be careful for ourselves and for other animals. And I think we need to be aware of the fact that this animal actually represents a life to other animals. We've got magpies and ravens and different kinds of animals that will come out and feed on this carcass. And although we all hate to see this kind of senseless destruction, it is a part of nature.
This is one of the first wildlife lessons that Sue and Tom Tracy will discuss with their two young sons today.
Mac, look out your window and look on the ground here near this road.
What is it?
What is it? Can you tell?
No.
I think it's bigger than a deer.
Ow.
You're right.
You like to go see it?
Yeah.
I think death fascinates kids, and when they're exposed to it like this, it's a real interesting experience for them, and it overwhelms them. But there's a natural interest in it.
Do you know why this elk died?
Why?
It got hit by a car.
No, not a car.
Or maybe a truck.
The elk must be thoroughly examined by 4-year-old Mac and his younger brother Bill. When all the questions have been answered, the family is loaded up and back on the road in search of wildlife that hasn't met such a tragic end.
I saw some up there.
Oh, look at them!
How many do you see?
4. No, there's 2 and another one up there. See?
It's interesting to me to see the animals this close up. I'm not a hunter, so I don't get to see them during hunting season. But it's even more fun with the kids. They have the funniest reactions, and their eyes just light up to see animals.
What do you see?
Deer.
How many do you see? Can you count them for me?
1, 4, 2, 1, 2, 4, 3, 4, 5.
You see any boys? See any bucks?
A baby and a dead one.
Baby and a dad. I think it's important to get out and see the animals at all times of the year, and in the winter time is the easiest time to see them. So they're closest to the road, and we can get out and spot them pretty easily without the kids getting too cold or too far off the road.
Sneak. I've heard that it's important to stay behind your car so that you're not scaring the deer away and disturbing their environment. So we try to teach the children to respect the animals, and it's their home.
Oh, look, they're looking at us. Can you wave to them? Yeah, but let's stay behind the car now.
So they don't see us. We don't want to scare them.
Wildlife viewing is an educational experience no matter what your age. But watching the wonder in the eyes of a child is a gentle reminder of the magical world of nature we sometimes take for granted. They have the gift of curiosity, questioning everything, and they have the persistence to rapidly exhaust even the most knowledgeable wildlife expert.
There are a lot of questions they have that have no answers. Yeah, we get lots of interesting questions, like why? Why is the universal question, and it's hard to answer because every answer has another why after it.
It's going across.
You bet.
How does she do that without any big cars coming to get her?
Well, there aren't any big cars, so she's being careful.
A respect for wildlife is one of the most enriching gifts we can pass on to our children. It is the foundation for a lifetime of treasured memories.
I think that as they grow older, they'll really be excited about teaching another generation about wildlife and how the outdoors is so important and how wonderful it is. We're really lucky to be living in Idaho.